Hey, 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 what's up, everybody? This is Real Time with Prince Blue. It is April the 11th, and I hope everybody is safe and everybody is well and doing great. Today is a very special episode. I know I say that all the time, but it's super special, y'all. It's like Power Rangers special. And if you grew up with Power Rangers, you knew every time a new episode come on, you like, it was special. And for those who don't know, it's Autism Acceptance Month, and me, your boy himself, is a parent of an autistic child. My son, Princeton, 3 years old, is autistic. So this is near and dear to me, and this is my Autism Hero special episode, and I brought on one of the heroes of the autism community. She's up and coming, y'all. She's doing some fantastic things in the autistic community, in the autism community, and it's not going to stop. She's going to be a problem. She's doing so many things. She's an author. She's a mother of an autistic child. She's very passionate, y'all. She's written one book, and now she's just released her second book, which is phenomenal. Um, she's a retired Air Force veteran. I'm not gonna hold that against her, but yes, she served her country. She served it well, and now she's serving the community, and she's doing fantastic things. And I want y'all to give her a warm welcome, and please pay attention and tweet this out. Send this episode out. Let everybody know to come in here and enjoy this and be a part of this, because this is something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, and we're going to fight because we not only do we have children with autism, but we have children of color with autism, and that's a whole different set of issues and levels, and we're going to get into that. But for now, let me welcome the one, the only Shantae Douglas, and the author of Are You Okay? A Story by Echo Boy, written by Shantae Douglas and art by Reggie Byers. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? Is this book, girl? You writing books? Shit. And it's thin too. I was excited because I thought you was gonna do some whole J.K. Rowling thick ass book stuff. No, 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 no. You tapped into my ADD. You was like, listen, I know I'm writing this for people like Prince who can't pay attention too long. So I want to thank you for this book. So
No,
hey girl, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Like we were talking offline, just been a lot going on the last couple months, but I'm so excited about this book. I think you remember me talking about it last year. I had written the story had already been written last year, but because of COVID and then I was laid off trying to just get things together. I'm just so happy I was able to put this book out. It means so much to me. I mean, I love the very first one, but this one's very close and dear to my heart, because the whole purpose of this book is to really help kids who have been through something terrible. If they've experienced trauma, if they've, bullying, whatever in their life that, we just assume kids are resilient and they can just get over it. We don't know their level of how they can, overcome some things. And the title, because I'm very intentional with everything that I write, Are You Okay? Is really a question Levi asks me all the time. If I take like a deep sigh, he's like, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay, Mom? So it was just easy to come up with the title of Are You Okay? And I think it's an important question to ask adults too. Like, are you okay? Like we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Like that's not over. We've lost so many people to COVID. Um, tomorrow's not promised to anyone, and we just need to be a source of comfort. That's what I want this book. I want this book to feel like it's giving you a giant hug and making you feel, even though it's a very short book, and I kept saying that like as I was getting the book together. I'm like, it's a very small book, but the impact of it is huge. Um, yeah, I can talk about this book all day. Um, yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. I don't know who the hell just called me, but I'm pissed off. But anyway, I tell y'all, man, stop calling me. But now with this book, this is your second book. Some people haven't even read one book. You, girl, are author of two books. So tell me, give some people a little bit of background. What made you want to champion so hard for the autistic community? For the people that don't know you, for the people that's just meeting, they're like, who's this light skinned woman? Like, what is she? Why is she on Real Time with Prince Blue? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, so I'm Shantae. I'm a single parent. My son is Levi. He just turned 8 years old back in February, and he has um, an autism spectrum disorder. He also has a speech disorder called echolalia, which is where Echo Boy comes from. Um, what really drove me to be the advocate that I am for my son is one, there's only me that's really supporting him. He unfortunately doesn't have the support from the other parent. Um, but also just because like I owed him that. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, kids don't ask to be born in a dysfunctional environment. They don't ask to be born the way that they are. They don't ask for a lot of things. They just come into this world and look to us as the parents to be their providers or protectors, their emotional shoulders to lean on. So I owed him that. That was really like my drive. Like I couldn't provide him, the traditional two-parent household. So I had to really like go the same force as two parents. And that's exhausting, but that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. And then as you get deeper into the community and IEP meetings, and you just figure out like there's so many people that sit with these degrees. They're not raising kids with autism. They definitely not raising Black kids with autism. So you really got to be like, listen, what we're not going to do is paint my child as a weapon or as an aggressor or as a bully. We need to really just sit back and really realize that autism spectrum disorder is named that for a reason. There's kids of different variations of autism. And then, you add on, kids of color, that's a whole nother hurdle that we got to get over that our white counterparts don't have to worry about with their kid. Real talk, white parents with kids with autism, they can be unapologetically autistic out in public. Our kids don't have that luxury. So it's a balancing act of you don't want them masking because that's not them living their authentic self. But then at the same time, they start acting aggressive, they start stimming or something, and somebody's looking at them because it's an invisible disability. They start looking at them like, let me call the cops real quick, because case in point, Matthew Russian, shout out to Laverne and the Russian family. Matthew is home now, but that's a prime example of a Black kid with autism that got arrested for a non deadly car accident and they threw at him a 50-year sentence, knocked off 40 of them, and expected him to serve 10 years. He ended up only serving a year and a half, almost 2 years, but his mom was the force behind that. She was determined to get her baby out of jail. And if that don't inspire anybody, that inspired me because listen, yeah, and Echo Boy just tapped me on the shoulder. If that didn't inspire me to go hard for him, it's like what I gotta tell parents, like especially my Black parents, if y'all watching this, like you gotta go extra hard for your kids. And it sucks to say that, but the school district, let's just talk about that. They expect us not to show up to these meetings. They expect us not to call meetings on these teachers that don't believe in our kids. They expect us to accept the bare minimum as far as support for our kids. They expect so much of us accepting the bare minimum. you really got to be a lion out here. Like that whole docile and kumbaya, they don't get it sometimes. Sometimes you really got to be like, listen, yeah, you got a master's degree, but guess what? I got a PhD when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
my son, when it comes to my daughter. That's how you got to come into these meetings, and you can be cordial and be a team player, but also they know don't play with me. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm great at collaborating with y'all, but at the same time, none of y'all know my child the way I know him. And the unique situation I have with Levi, he also has a trauma disorder. So not only are we dealing with autism, we have to deal with trauma. And I had to sit down with the entire team because guess what? Then I get a call from the principal, like worried about like, he's acting super aggressive. And I had to break it down. Like, listen, I have PTSD. I can relate to my son when it comes to trauma triggers. And you may not know what it is if you've never experienced it. It can be sounds, smells, whatever. And I talk about that in the book that
Mm-hmm.
will, trigger something traumatic that happened. So yeah, it's a never ending journey, but the main thing is that I want to be the one to blaze the trail for him so he can take the torch and start advocating for himself. Because what people don't know is your child legally can sit in on IEP meetings when they turn 14. So by the time
Mm-hmm.
this kid is 14, listen, that's that's the younger version of me. They're not ready for that one. Because by the time he gets 14, he's going to know, like, listen, Levi, you have autism, but also let them know what your needs are, what you need support in. That don't shortchange you because you're in special education. There's nothing wrong with having your child in special education. It's just the way that they have to learn, and they're entitled to that. So, just never give up on your kids because you're their first line of support. If you don't show up for them, who else is going to show up for them at the end of the day? Point blank.
And and that was and you said some things like when you said as black parents, as parents, period, you have to be vigilant. And this next person, there's nobody more vigilant than this person. If y'all was two together, y'all be like vigilantes, because that's the short is of vigilance. Y'all like I hear her like because she told me how this next guest told me how it takes like 5 or 7 years to get your kid on the list to get ABA therapy, blah blah blah. My son got his right out the gate, and I was like, "How?" It's because this woman right here, she don't take no for an answer, and I know this for a fact because I married her. So,
Yes. Hi.
Hi there. Say hi, Princeton.
What's up,
and my son is
handsome?
here too. Let me
Want to be
look at
shy?
that.
You want to be shy?
Uh,
Hi,
so for
Princeton.
those who don't know, this is my wife Taika and my son Princeton, who's autistic as well. So uh, mom,
Mm-hmm.
honey, baby, I don't know what I should call you.
Taika.
What is what you heard what Shantae had to say? Are
Mhm.
you pretty much in agreement with that, far as being aggressive with getting services for your children?
Yes, I am because you don't advocate for them. The people, other people don't. They don't care if you receive the services or not. So you have to be the advocate for your son or daughter to ensure that they have the services that they need, or else they're going to tell you. Like I've mentioned before, when Princeton first got his diagnosis, they kept telling me um, there were no ABA agencies that would accept my insurance. We have a major commercial insurance. They kept saying, no, there's no ABA that will accept your insurance. I'm like, okay, let me see about that. And I called myself and got him services right away.
I know that's right.
Yeah, mom don't
Got
play.
to be a
And
lion out here.
and Shantae, you also said something about how you said white parents can be very unapologetically special needs, like it's no issue, but somehow children of color, they're typed as aggressive or slow or problem children
Right.
or things of that nature. So I'm going to pose this question to the both of you. How do you handle? Because there's some parents that won't take their kids out because they're afraid of the looks. They don't want to be
Mhm.
bothered, or maybe they might just snap on somebody if they say the wrong things. Like I know Shantae, you posted something about he doesn't look autistic, like saying like ignorant little stupid things like that. Like
Mhm.
how do you go about that when you go out? I'll start with Shantae.
I'm gonna keep it 100. In the beginning, it was extremely hard because Levi was around Princeton's age, right around that time, like nonverbal, um, extremely self-harming behavior. So it was like head banging, punching his face, scratching, kicking, biting. It was a lot. So it took multiple times for me to take him out somewhere. And then I had to accept the fact that we could only stay maybe 15, 20 minutes and then we had to leave. Or we would go to a birthday party and we would have to leave because it was overwhelming for him. Or because it was like, I need to leave or I'm about to fight somebody at this party because they keep saying slick stuff that's extremely ignorant. It's just better for me to remove myself from the situation. So we got to go. After a while, I just knew that in order, he deserves to be out in the community just like everybody else's kids, right? I had to take the mentality of like, we're not going to adapt to the world. The world's going to adapt to us. And it's really, we're just going to be in your face. Either you want to accept it or just move out of the way. Like he's not bothering anybody. He's enjoying Sesame Place like any other kid, but he's doing it on his own terms, the way he wants to. If he's stemming, fine, let him rock out. He's not bothering anybody. That's where we're at now. Like, I gotta allow him to be him, but at the same time, it's like sometimes you do have to do like a teaching moment instead of snapping. It's kind of like, listen, he has autism. And then you always get the, oh, I'm sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. He's thriving. He's happy. This is not a death sentence. We just have to navigate the world in a different way than typical kids. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a juggling act, and I'm pretty sure Taika can reiterate that it's a juggling act, and especially at the age that Princeton's at, he's still in that toddler age. Um, it's always going to be a juggling act. Even like Levi's 8, and it's still some things I have to balance, and you know um always make sure that he's happy. That's always a priority. Is he having fun? Is he safe? That's all I care about. Everybody looking, staring, whatever. Mind your own badass kids that's breaking stuff, doing things they don't got no business doing, but mine is just stemming, but he's the problem. Okay, make that make sense, but whatever. No, that's
Tyke, I already know the answer to this because I'm with you normally if people even think they gonna be out the way, but how do you deal with it?
I don't think we've had any. Okay, well, at least
Nope.
the one negative experience at Disney World where they were trying to
Oh
force
yeah.
Preston to wear a mask, and I was trying to help them understand. I know he's 3, but he's not going to wear a mask. He's going to just keep pulling off his face. And I had to even go into telling the security officer that Princeton had autism, and he kept saying he has to wear a mask. I'm sorry, y'all. He keeps taking the screen off. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Good.
hear you.
Okay. But that's the only negative experience we've had so far. But some people, I've had people say to me, well, he doesn't look autistic, or he's going to grow out of it, or,
Yeah, I got that too.
and he's not going to grow. It's not something that he's going to grow out of. Yes, he's going to develop some more, adaptive behaviors, and he's going to learn different techniques to communicate and things like that, but the stimming is going to be forever. And for those who don't know what stimming is, it can be multiple different things, but for Princeton, stimming, it comes in a noise that sounds like that's a lot of times what his verbal stimming looks like. And we always know that he may be up to something that he shouldn't be doing because he makes that noise. That means it's really that sensory processing, is on overload. So that's one of his multiple ways of stimming. And then, so when we're in restaurants, Jesse does make those loud stimming noises. And yesterday, we had an example where we go Princess's birthday party, and we had a lot of family over, which was great. Princeton was all good with it, but as you know, with kids who have autism, loud noises can be really troubling for them. And for him, he took a nap, and when he woke up, he was in a room by himself, but he came out, and all that noise just hit him all at one time. And it took us maybe 30 minutes to calm him down. He just would not stop screaming, no matter what we tried, even his favorite song, beautiful one, that still wouldn't calm him down. So I don't, if we have gotten stares and things, or people haven't saying things about him, I haven't noticed. But if they do, God have mercy on them.
Yeah, I know that's right.
I don't. Yeah. Well, listen. My I got, and I learned this from Shantae. The rested bitch face, but like when it comes to your kids, yo, you just
right.
And sometimes I'm not going to say that people are deliberately being malice, but it is sometimes due out of ignorance. It's like people don't know what to say, so they say something. And sometimes that something just doesn't make any sense. Like you'll grow out of it, or he doesn't look autistic. Just because I say my son or daughter is autistic, it doesn't require that a boy or he'll grow out of it. It's okay. I don't need your pity or your sympathy. Like
exactly.
We're good here. I didn't say, hey, my son's autistic, woe is me. I just said, hey, I have an autistic child. Right. Now, where you go from there, that's on you. But I don't need oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't say he died. Right. I didn't say he or she has a uncurable disease. I just said they have superpowers and they learn different than quote unquote a normal kid.
Right.
So, Shantae, when you wrote the book, right? And you're advocating and you're trying to put representation out there for not only the autistic community, but the Black autistic community. And it's so weird because sometimes you and I, when we talk like on Twitter and stuff like that, it's like the representation is there, but it's like there without any soul. It's like, hey, here's a Black autistic kid, but it's nothing behind it. But yet
it doesn't give the same energy as the or other counterparts, right.
And you already know where I want to go, but it's like, you put a white kid with special needs or something, and it's getting like 80 million retweets and likes and blah blah blah, and you put the Black kid up there, and it's like, it's like, hey, pat on the back. Hey, you want me to put hashtag autism in my bio, like Black Lives Matter? Like, no, it's like that doesn't do anything for the community if you don't mean it. Like, I'm not telling you to go out here and wave the flag, but at least put some effort behind it, put some thought behind it. Let people know, like, hey, I stand with the autistic community. Not like all this. I think the key word here, the key term everybody uses now is virtue signaling. Like, I don't need you to prove to me that you're a good person.
Right.
Just do what you do, not for likes, because the people that do things behind the scenes and navigate and not worry about likes and retweets and stuff like that, those are the people I pay attention to.
Right.
So, what's your ultimately when you do something like this and you do representation, what is your end game? What are you trying to get out there with your book?
There's two main focuses. One is to the autism community in general, that our kids matter just as much as, white kids with autism. Because a lot of times when you see movies or commercials and they're talking about autism, you don't see a black child being represented. It's always, a white kid. And it's no discrimination against, our white autism parents, but it kind of makes the black community feel defeated when you don't see us in children's books, in a cartoon, in a movie, in a commercial, on a TV show. You know what I'm saying? So then that kind of trickles down to our community, where you start seeing signs of autism, and it's like, well, I don't want to get him evaluated because he'll just grow out of it. And then there's no adequate resources that equates to what the white community has for their kids. So you see these upper middle class rich families um that can get these services for their kids. Well, what about the low income families in the hood that need that same support for their kids? And then, then the kid is like 8, 9, 10, and they're developmentally behind, their speeches, but they don't have any type of support. It's just like a trickle down effect. So when I was creating these characters, it was easy to make Echo Boy, but I was adamant about making a black little girl, a black little girl. And because you don't see enough girls with autism represented, and you definitely don't see black little girls with autism in books. And that's a little girl that I see all the time at events. That's little girls that I see at school. That's in the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see them everywhere. I don't see them enough in books. And I made her, really Levi's best friend in the books. You know what I'm saying? And the response, when I tell you, like, even when I made the coloring book for her, the response that I have gotten so far with ABC Girl alone has been so heartwarming. And it just further let me know that our community was starving for, more representation for our kids. Even if your kids don't even have autism and they're neurotypical, they just want to see them being superheroes, doing amazing things, and sticking up for kids that's being bullied. And it warms my heart, because that really, everything that I write, the illustrations, shout out to Reggie, who is amazingly talented, that I don't even have to tell him anything when it comes to these books. He just draws from what I write, so we have that magical connection. But yeah, everything's intentional, and everything I wanted to inspire the next generation. Like, I'm doing what I can as a parent to show my son how much I love him and what I see in him every single day. Because now it don't even faze him anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm Echo Boy. I'm like, did you see the new book? Yeah, that's great, Mom. All right, I'm gonna play video games. So he's already like, I already know I'm a superhero, Mom. Like that ain't nothing new. Like, oh, that's another book. I'm like, you know what? But yeah, I just want to tell everyone who's bought the book, who's read the book, retweeted about it, you are helping a bigger cause at the end of the day, of showing that our Black kids matter. And this was a conversation me and you had, Prince, about when we were talking about Black Lives Matter. There's a whole umbrella of sub communities that need to be represented. So when we're saying Black Lives Matter, we need to have Black Autistic Lives Matter as well. Um, it's very important that we see our kids being represented, because that trickles down to, the rest of the communities being aware that, listen, there are Black kids out there that have disabilities. There are Black kids out there that have autism. And I'm seeing, like,
Yeah,
somebody
I'm
just
gonna get to
said,
everybody's questions.
okay,
I'm gonna get to
okay.
everybody's questions. They're coming
But
rapid.
yeah, that was
Everybody
the
want to type today. Yeah, I mean.
but yeah, that was basically the reason behind the books. And Prince and Taika, thank you so much for being supportive. And
Hey, listen.
later on down the road, because I'm gonna say this now, I do want Princeton in the Echo Boy and ABC Girl universe. So I want you to brainstorm how what from the costumes to the superhero name. I want him standing next to Echo Boy and rocking out. So that's gonna be a future project later on down the road.
Hey, listen. And I was about to ask my wife the same thing because I was going to ask her seeing representation far as um black autistic children in not necessarily the mainstream, but when you're just out and about and when you see brochures and when you see commercials, honey, like what do you see enough representation for people of color with special needs?
So I'll be honest and say that I haven't paid as much attention to it. But I will say that the ABA therapists that we've had two so far. Both of them are African American, and both said to us like, "Wow, we have a Black family. It's very rare that we have Black families receiving the services." So that goes to show me that maybe that's something that needs to be paid more attention to.
And I yeah, well, for me, I pay attention to all that stuff all the time because I just be looking for violence. So I'm always looking to find out why somebody ain't on somewhere. Like the Powerpuff Girl, like why the aggressive Powerpuff Girl is a black woman? Like what are we doing here? Like come on, man. What, like I just be looking at stuff like that, and I'll be right because I'll be asking the same question like everybody else. But that's here nor there. I'm just
I see
saying.
rainbows and unicorns with
Yeah,
everything.
you always see the best of people, not me. I'm always like, I'm waiting. I'm
And that's
waiting.
why it works with y'all. That's the yin and the yang. That's why it works with y'all.
Yeah, I'm always choosing violence. Always. But we got two questions for you, Shante. It's gonna be a
Okay.
two-part question. Was ABC Girl based off anyone you knew or had an experience with? And my girl Terry asked, are you going to continue the series? Are you going to continue the ABC Echo are you going to keep the series going, Shantae?
Okay, so ABC girl, if I were to have another child, it would have been her. So everything that you see about her personality, that really just came from my heart. Um, I named her Jasmine because when I was pregnant with Levi, that was actually one of the names because I swore up and down I was having a girl. So that was one of the names.
Wrong, wrong.
Right, right. As soon as that ultrasound came up, he was like, "Nope, I'm a boy." So, that was one of the names I have written down that I wanted if I was going to have a girl. So, she's very dear to my heart. Love that little girl to death. The second part, of course, this is going to be a series. I am taking a break from writing for the rest of the year. Only because this project that I started last year, I am bringing 5 more characters. So it'll be 4 more kids added to Echo Boy and ABC Girl plus a villain. The only thing I'm going to tell you is we will be talking about racism. So this is
Ooh.
why this is going to be taking a while for me to develop the story because I don't want to sugarcoat it, but then I don't want it too heavy that the kids will miss the message. And I want it relatable to their age group and their environment. So yeah, it's gonna take a minute for me to but trust me, I already got pictures of how I want all these kids to look. I got I can't I'm not gonna go into detail with
Yeah,
every
don't
character.
please, because I don't need nobody stealing nothing.
But when I tell you this team is all that, like I'm such a superhero nerd. But
Yeah,
I
we
really
know.
want to be like what Stanley was to Marvel. I want to be like that for our kids. That they got a whole team riding for them. Like oh my god, like I can see myself in Echo Boy and ABC Girl and these other characters. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a process, but I can't wait. So 2022, we're going to look at the end of the summer of 2022, and I'll be bringing something new. Yeah, I can't
And
wait.
to think that our boy is going to be somewhere getting on somebody else's nerves besides ours. That's just fantastic. Like, cause I mean, like sometimes I legit think he does have like some powers and they're about to manifest because like we have this container of Cheerios, it's about this big, and he can legit hold that thing with one hand and walk up 3 flights of steps to bring it to me so I could go back downstairs, find a bowl, and pour the damn Cheerios in the bowl. So that alone tells me that he's destined for great things because he can get people to do whatever he want and he could palm a damn basketball already. So I mean, it's just I like
There you
hearing
go.
stuff like that. I love seeing our representation be not only doing things but being supported. Like talk about the support that you've been getting with this because you know within the community it's so hard to get support if it's not like I can guarantee you, if you was a certain celeb or something and you put pretzels front and center and said he has this issue, all
Yeah.
the likes, the retweets, the
Right.
you need this, you need
Right.
that. I'm praying for
Right.
you, mama. We already know that. But talk about the reaction and the support you're getting coming from where you are and starting from the ground up with no fanfare. Talk about that.
Wow. So the first book, The Adventures of Echo Boy and ABC Girl, the reaction, I'm gonna tell y'all, like the my test group really was at a children's book festival in Camden in 2019, and I was super nervous because kids, kids keep it real. They're gonna tell you like, "Oh, I love it," or "That sucks," right? And they would come to my table and be like trying to drag their mom over, like, I want that, I want that. And like, and I'm busy trying to explain the book to the mom or whatever. And she's like, just tell me how much it is. Cause they keep bugging me about this book. And just tell me. I'm like, all right, they would buy the book. And then I would get messages about like, my son really relates to Echo Boy. My daughter keeps talking about Jasmine, aka ABC Girl. It's really been overwhelming, but it really just made me emotional because this came from my heart. This was something that was a dream of mine 3 years prior to me putting this book out. I was super nervous with Are You Okay? Because I wrote this from a personal situation that happened to Levi, but I wanted to not go into full detail of the situation, but just to let kids know it's okay to to not be okay, and to talk about your feelings and acknowledge when you're scared, acknowledge when you're sad, have a safe place to talk to someone in regards to how you're feeling, have that open conversation. um it's just the recent comments I've seen on Twitter, just I'm like trying not to cry because I'm like, oh, I mean, that was the whole purpose. I really wanted to pull on the heartstrings and get parents, not just the kids, but just have the parents, just have that open dialogue with their kids. So just want to thank everyone, anyone that's bought the book. You wore a face mask, you wore a t-shirt, just repping, these characters that I love so dearly. I appreciate y'all so much. And it's a lot of labor. Like you said, I don't have that platform that these celebrities have. And they have these sponsors, and everything that I do is from my own money. That's me. I don't ask for a dime from nobody. That's me working overtime at my job, you know, making sure bills are paid, but then some of that money goes to getting these books illustrated, designing t-shirts. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it don't even feel like work to me because this is something that I love, and I just want to share that with as many people as possible. Even if your kids are neurotypical, I want you to be educated that your kids may know someone like Levi or ABC Girl at school, eventually Princeton. I really can't wait to get Princeton in a book with Echo Boy. Like, that's gonna be so dope. I think I'm more excited than y'all. That's just how how hyped I
Listen,
am. Like, because his swag level, every time y'all post a picture about him, like his whole swag level at 3 is amazing. So I can't wait to see him as he gets older, and he has the best parents in the world that's giving him that foundation now. Because a lot of our kids don't have that. They don't have that support, and that's another issue. We'll talk about it another time. Like, yeah, there's resources that's limited, but then you got some ancient parents out here that's not doing the legwork that needs to be done, like Taika, like what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't rely on what's being handed to you. Sometimes you got to go in there like a lion and be like, listen, this is my child. This is what he deserves. This is what is in the IEP. You not following it? Guess what? I'm getting an educational lawyer. Don't play with me. I will call 5 meetings in the school year. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I appreciate the support.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that. And like I said, me and my wife, we will be honored for Princeton to be a part of that universe. And yes, he is unbothered in a lot of his picks, and really most of them. But he's so resilient. He like and honey, I want you to talk about, because it's been a while since we had our Princeton Chronicles update before Shantae gets to her to reading her book. Talk about Princeton's rapid I want to say improvement, or the way he's come a long way in ABA therapy. Talk about that.
Yeah. So he's doing really good in ABA therapy. He receives therapy Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. He receives OT and speech once a week, 1 hour each.
So can you talk about who's responsible for making sure he gets to all those appointments and things like that, please? So,
some guy. There's some guy out there who's an awesome husband who may or may is sure that Princeton gets to all his appointments. Princeton's his OTN speech appointment is like at 7:30 in the morning. So how difficult it may be to get Princeton up out of bed and headed, out the door to all his multiple appointments. So yes, none of this will be possible without Princeton's awesome dad, who definitely is a huge advocate. So Princeton is crazy about his dad. Like, he follows him all day long, 24/7. One of his pictures in his book, I should have brought it up here, but it has a picture of his dad in it. And like, he earns tokens, right? So every time he does a task, whether it's, he just started matching, he's doing really good with that. Or if he's like putting together, every time he earns a token, his reward is to go to his dad. Like, he can pick the reward of going to the trampoline outside, the trampoline in the garage. He wants to go and spend quality time with his dad. So, yeah, I definitely think that makes, a big difference to have supportive parents. But he's making a lot of improvements. He is having some type of speech, and I'm really excited about that, even though Prince doesn't believe us when we say that we hear him saying these things. You have to listen really closely, and he says it on cue. Like, we've heard him say bye to his ABA therapist, Miss Tiffany. He's told her bye. He says again when he's really excited. Again. He does say yogurt, like for yoga. He says mama a lot. That surprisingly does say doing a lot of improvement for what he's doing. He's so good at all the different he has to do for Miss Tiffany. Like, he's really smart. He catches on really quickly. And he's really creative. We think he's definitely has a musical ear. He's a musical genius. He knows a good song when he hears it. Today, his new song was good. And what's the Weekend song? I'm bad with
I Feel It.
Yeah, that song. So yeah, my sweet baby. But yeah, he's making a lot of progress, and
awesome.
It's only been since December since he started, and it's April now, so he's definitely making huge progress. We go through and look at the charts of all the tasks completing at 100%. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and shout out to Miss Tiffany and ABA. We couldn't have fell into a better situation. She understands person, and like Shantae, you said earlier, she is a mother of an autistic teenager, so she saw it, decided if anybody's going to be able to tell me about my son, it's going to be me. Went to school for it, did her thing, and that's another avenue of representation that we're seeing. We have Black ABA therapists
Yeah.
out here doing work. So shout out to her. Shout out to the people that's making it better for Princeton. We appreciate it. Now for this is the part I'm excited for because you did this before with the first book when you read it on air and everybody took info. I'm almost nervous not to because I'm like, I don't want you to give away the book. Like, read the book yourself, people. But I understand that this is your art and like you said, it's story time. You like the light skin, LeVar Burton.
That is a
So
huge honor because I love that man. I love reading Rainbow.
read, hey, LeVar's
Somebody
the
retweet
man, yo.
him. Have him read my book.
That's right. He want to be the host of Jeopardy and read this book, Mr. Burton. Please read "Are You Okay" by Echo Boy. We done tweeted it enough. Please make sure you read it. So, without further ado, please, Shantae, can you read for us "Are You Okay"? A story by Shantae Douglas. Are you okay, Echo Boy?
Sure. All right. So title is "Are You Okay?" A story by Echo Boy by Shantae Douglas, and the art is by Reggie Byers. Can y'all see that? I just want to make sure everybody can see it.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. There is so much to say how I was scared on an early cold day. It was a terrible thing that happened that day. Sometimes I've had memories of that day. It makes me sad, or sometimes I get mad. I can't find the words to say how I feel, but the fear is very real. Have you ever been scared? Here are some things that help me when I'm scared. I ask for more hugs and kisses from my mom. She's the best. I may require more breaks from a task at school to give my brain a rest. And I love this picture. That's like one of my favorite parts of the book.
Why is it your favorite picture? Don't answer that. Because the person looks like you? Yeah. Go ahead.
Voices and noises can trigger my memories. I start to cry, and sometimes I don't know why. Take a moment to take a deep breath. Blow some bubbles to forget about your troubles. It's hard to forget that terrible, terrible day. I was alone and wandered away. A lady found me and asked me, was I okay? There are smells and sounds, even voices that take me back to that day. But now I hear a voice that tells me I'm going to be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Just take a deep breath and count to 10. Happy thoughts will come back again. Some days you will laugh, some days you will cry. It's okay to be sad no matter how hard you try. You are so brave. I'm so proud of you. When those days go from sunny to blue, just know that Echo Boy will always be here for you. And that's the end. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. No, thank you for reading that. And that is so awesome. I mean, I feel like I'm at the beginning stages of, like when you first, I don't want to go too far away, but when you first held the Super Soaker and you was like, yo, I think this gonna be big, y'all. That's how I feel about this book, yo. I just feel like
Thank
that you're
you.
on to something, and I swear, if I'm not even gonna say if, but when it blows up, I'm gonna be so proud to know that I was here during the early stages, and I saw how creative um we can be as human beings, how we can channel trauma, guilt, um, any emotions we have, and we can do something positive with it. And I feel like this book is the summary of that. Is this book is what happens when you don't feel sorry for yourself, or even if you do feel sorry for yourself, you you do something with that you take that, you turn it into a positive, and you let people in. Because I mean, what is the number one drama? I mean, what is the number one genre that people love to see on TV? What? Drama.
Right.
They love to see people going through stuff, even if it's to knock them down a peg, or just
Hmm.
to feel sorry for them, or just to
Right.
be like, oh, somebody's going through what I'm going through. So that's
Right.
fantastic. I'm so proud of you. And like I said, me and Taika are always happy to support you and help you out, anything we can, because we feel like this community is it's a lifetime. Like you talk about your fraternities, your sororities. Like this is a
Absolutely.
lifetime. This is a lifetime thing. This is a group. It's not like one day either one of our children is going to wake up and not be autistic.
And
This is
honestly, I
life.
wouldn't want them any other way than the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? That's
No,
how I look at it. I
I
wouldn't
feel
change
like
it for anything in the world.
whether you religious or not, me and my wife are. We feel like the Lord don't make mistakes,
Exactly.
and we feel like our babies are destined for greatness. They're going to change the world,
Absolutely.
even if it's because of their special powers and their special needs. They're going to change the world because somebody's going to look at that and they're going to be like, okay, look at them doing it. I want to do that. Okay, I don't have a two-parent household like Prince and Taika, but wait a minute, Shantae's a single mother doing it. So I got somebody I can relate to. It's all types of walks
Walks
of
of life
life
in this right.
in the
Right.
community. And like I'm going to say this story again. I was on a Zoom with you when you was at a autism roundtable, and it was this professor. He was giving this police officer the business about
Yes, he
how do you
was.
approach autistic. And I was like, man, Shantae, that dude was on point. That professor was on point. He was giving to him. He was like, he's autistic, right? That blew my mind. A
Yeah.
professor.
Listen, he don't play. Listen, that's I know him. He's from Ireland too. Yeah, they he was like,
And that's
no.
and my wife had to not enlighten me, but she let me know because of her. She deals with a lot of high functional adults that's autistic, and they're like doing it. And now we got shows out where kids with autism, like they're becoming doctors or they're becoming police officers to use
Hmm.
whatever gifts they have towards
Right.
something else. It's like it's phenomenal how now you can say it like when you say, yeah, my child's autistic, you're not like, yeah, my child's autistic. You're like, listen, I got an autistic kid and he does ABCDEFGHIJK.
Yep. Listen,
And
I got them tattooed on my arm. That's how much I believe in my kids. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Like, it's we got to build our tribe. It's sometimes family ain't it. And that's a whole other topic for another day. But you got to find your tribe. That's how you keep your sanity. That's how, the network of people that I've come in contact with over the last 6 years. Those are lifetime relationships that hold more weight than people that I hold DNA with. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been through the mud with me in the beginning, coming out of an extremely toxic relationship, and then you get hit with your child has autism. I had no breathing room for a good 3 to 4 years because it was like, what is autism? Let me look this up, and who can I talk to? And I'm drowning out here. I don't have that support that other people kind of take for granted. And yeah, everybody that's watching, feel free to, you can always message me. I'm always on social media. If you have a question, if you have a concern, you need to vent about your child, or you need to find, especially if you're in the Philly area and you need to find resources, I know plenty of people I can connect you with. It's just about making sure our kids are good at the end of the day. That's all that matters. Making sure that they're in a safe environment. They have people that they're surrounded by that loves them, that cares for them. And then we need to push the narrative of allowing them to be them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to really eventually, stop looking at the color of people's skin and weaponizing that, and look at each other as human beings. But we'll get there eventually. But we just got to take baby steps in our communities and bring more awareness, because awareness brings acceptance. Because if you don't know, you don't know how to react to it. That's just the bottom line. If you don't have someone in your family who has autism, you've never been exposed to it, you're going to say some wild stuff out of your mouth. That's just the hard truth. And I've seen it time and time again. But like I said earlier, we're gonna be in your face, autistic, unapologetically autistic all day. Like, you either going to accept it or leave us alone. That's there is no gray area. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how we just want to live.
So with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came in and listened and was here for this episode. We appreciate you so much. Shout out to my wife. She's on here with me, and I know that it was a show for Shantae and her book, but I felt like it would be fantastic to also join in and update people on
Absolutely.
Princeton's Chronicles and his development, because we're going through it. We're going through it together. This is a family, and we're going to be together to the end, because we both share something that a lot of people don't. So we're going to
Right.
always support it. And I just wanted to thank my wife for coming on with me and being patient and talking. She cut her Japanese short for this. And I want to thank her so much. She still got fried rice in her teeth. So, no, she doesn't, y'all. She knows she doesn't. But thank you, honey. And Shantae, please tell everybody where they can find you and if they have any questions or want to talk to you about anything.
Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm on Facebook, Shantae Douglas. I'm on Instagram, Echo Boy's Mom 82, or Echo Boy and ABC Girl. That's my business page. Twitter, I'm on there, Levi's Mom 82. Also, I am giving away a free copy of my book tonight. So if you didn't, it's only for people who have not bought the book. So if you have not bought any of my books, I'm going to be picking somebody. So, first person to message me that was in this live, that was watching, first person to message me that wants the book, they'll get the book. That's how we're just going to do it, because I can't keep track of people that's in. So if you're listening right now, send me a message. First person to send me a message that you want a copy of the book, I'll have that mailed out this week for you. I'll autograph it. I'll send some goodies for the kids, some stickers, a keychain. I think I have some leftover fidget spinners. I have to look in my box. And,
I got mine.
I'll make sure I get that sent out to y'all.
And I wanted to give a special shout out to Iron, because he wanted to say, I want to thank my discipline for not roasting Shantae like I normally do. It was hard, but I did it. And that's facts,
No,
y'all.
He said something earlier talking about I give a portion of my OnlyFans money. I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
See, that's why I need a producer. So he lies. So get that comment out of here. He ain't do nothing. But thank you everybody for listening. This is fantastic, and we're going to do this again. Ashante, all the blessings to you in this book. And please, if y'all don't have the book, please tell them where they can find the book, Shantae if they
Yes,
need it.
all of the books, because it's a mini series right now. So there's The Adventures of Echo Boy and ABC Girl, The Wonderful World of ABCs with ABC Girl, which is a story and a coloring book, and the newest book, Are You Okay? A story by Echo Boy. So all of them are on Amazon. Yeah, thank you just in advance for just supporting me. Prince, Tiger, thank you so much. I have so much respect for both of y'all, what y'all doing with Princeton. I love seeing his updates. Y'all really are setting an amazing example for a lot of other parents who, and it's hard to navigate through this. Like, they don't give you a manual on what to do when you get diagnosed. You're like thrown in the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the resources I have, you can't find half of this on the internet. It's almost based on, like, you know, people who knows people who knows people. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a secret society. It's like, oh, you had all of this all this time? Like, I didn't know about this. Like, oh yeah, well, you got to talk to such and such, and then she works at such and such, and then the BSC that knows the TS, and you know, they throwing all these acronyms. I'm like, the what and the who? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's that's why it's important to build your tribe, people who've been through it, who can lead you in the right direction. And it's all about support. It's not a competition. It's not about who has it worse, who's doing this for their kids. I'm not on here doing stuff for clout. I'm not doing any of that. It's about celebrating my son, celebrating other kids of color, knowing that our kids matter just like anybody else's kids, and they deserve the world just like the rest of these kids out here. So yeah.
And I also want to give a special shout out to the man responsible for all the ad libs during this show. That's been Levi, aka
Yes.
Pretzel.
You want
So
to say hi? Levi, you want to say hi? Come here.
bring him on in here.
Hi.
Bring him
Come
on
here.
in here.
Mommy,
Tobias,
Hi.
there he
You say
is.
hi to everybody.
Hi.
Hi, hi. I appreciate you dropping 25 and 8 the other night. That we needed that. We needed that because Embiid was off. I appreciate that. For those who don't know, it's an
Stay
inside
impressed.
joke because Levi looked just like Tobias Harris.
He does.
So that's why I shout him out. Yeah, his voice is deep. You gonna have to watch out for Levi because you have a deep voice at 13. People gonna be calling you like, "Ma'am, how old is you again? Hello, hello,
Right.
hello."
Right.
Calling my boy. Hello, hello. But thank you everybody for joining us. This has been fun. We're going to definitely do this again. I think we should do this before the month is out in Autism Acceptance Month out with a bang. Everybody, thank you. Be safe. Be good to each other, and remember, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be pretty. You don't have to be any of that. Just be real, which means just be yourself, and everything else will fall into place. Everybody, thank you, and we will see you again later. Happy WrestleMania Day too, because it's about to be on. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.